This was the most stunning wife in the village, but she had one frightening rule. If you ever light a candle while I am sleeping, I will disappear forever. This is the story of a broken promise. Long ago, in a quiet village called Akudo, there lived a young farmer named Jabiru. Jabiru was kind and very hardworking. Every day he worked under the hot sun, digging the soil and planting large cassava and yam. He was not wealthy. His hut was built from brown clay and covered with dry palm leaves. But Jabiru was cheerful. He sang to the birds while farming. The only thing missing in his life was a wife. Whenever he went to the village square, he saw other men walking beside their wives, laughing together. His heart felt empty at night, when the moon came out. Then one evening, a terrible storm hit Akudo. The wind roared loudly, trees bent low, rain crashed on rooftops like falling stones. Suddenly Jabiru heard a soft knock. Tap, tap, tap. He wondered who could be outside in such weather. When he opened the door, he froze. A young woman stood there. She was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. Her skin shone softly like smooth water. Her eyes sparkled like stars. She was wet and shaking from the cold rain. Jabiru quickly gave her dry cloth and warm pepper soup. She said her name was Zara. She told him she had no home and nowhere to go. Because Jabiru had a gentle heart, he allowed her to stay. Days passed. Jabiru slowly fell in love. Zara was calm, wise, and peaceful, but she carried a secret. One afternoon, before he asked her to marry him, she sat with him under a tall orange tree. She looked serious. Jabiru, she said softly, I will marry you. I will make your life full of joy. But you must promise me something important. When I sleep at night, the room must remain completely dark. You must never light a candle or lamp to look at me. If you break this promise, I will leave forever, and sorrow will follow. Jabiru laughed. It sounded simple. He did not know his own heart would betray him later. After they married, something strange happened. Jabiru's farm, once small and dry, became the best in Akudo. His cassava grew huge. His corn tasted sweeter than honey. Birds flew from far places just to eat there. People were shocked. Jabiru became rich. He bought goats and cows. He built a bigger house with a strong roof. Zara was a loving wife. She cooked tasty soup and smiled often. But villagers talked too much. Some became jealous. A man named Femi, who loved money too much, gathered other men under the big iroko tree. How did Jabiru become this lucky? Femi said. Yesterday he was poor. Now he has more wealth than the chief. And his wife? She is too beautiful. No woman here looks like that. They noticed. Zara never went to the river. She never looked tired. Her skin never became dusty. One market day, a woman named Bissy asked her, What is your secret? Why does your husband's farm grow treasure? Zara only smiled gently. Peace and hard work bring blessings, she replied. But they did not like that answer. Soon they began filling Jabiru's ears with doubt. Your wife walks near the forest at night, Femi told him. Are you sure she is human? Jabiru defended her, but doubt began growing inside him like weeds. Even the village ruler heard rumors. The ruler of Akudo, a proud man who lived in a large compound, decided to throw a grand celebration. Everyone was invited. I want to see this woman, he declared. On the night of the feast, Zara wore a simple white wrapper, yet she looked like a queen. Music stopped when she entered. Even the ruler stood up. He felt jealous. Jabiru, he mocked, a woman like this belongs in my palace, not your hut. His advisor whispered, She is not ordinary. The ruler laughed loudly. Does she sleep like humans, or fly into the forest? People laughed. Jabiru felt ashamed. Why do you have no children? The ruler added. Maybe she is not real. That night, Jabiru could not sing. The promise felt heavy. Days passed. He grew quiet. One evening Femi brought palm wine. A man must control his home, Femi said. Why are you afraid to look at your wife? If she loves you, she will stay. They called him a coward. Pride entered his heart. That night, Zara prepared pounded yam and okra soup. "My husband," she said gently, "please do not listen to outside voices." But his mind was troubled. When she slept, darkness filled the room. Jabiru could not sleep. He touched the table beside him, where he had hidden a candle and matches. His hands shook. A small voice told him to stop, but curiosity was stronger. "Just one look," he whispered. He struck the match. A small flame appeared. He lit the candle. Slowly he turned toward his wife. He expected something terrible. Instead, he saw something breathtaking. Zara's body shimmered with soft light, like sunlight mixed with moonlight. And she was crying in her sleep. Each tear that fell made a small part of her body fade away. Jabiru understood. She was giving pieces of herself to bless his life. Before he could speak, her eyes opened. The light flickered. "Jabiru," she whispered sadly, "why did you not trust our love in the dark?" He fell to his knees. She began disappearing. "I came from the morning star," she said softly. "I searched for a man who would love a heart, not a face." She faded like smoke. "Wealth was my own spirit given to you. Now it must return." With a bright flash, she vanished. At once everything changed. The big house shrank. The giant crops turned to dust. The cows became gray stones. Gold coins turned into dry leaves. By sunrise, Jabiru was poor again. Villagers laughed. Femi mocked him. But Jabiru no longer cared about riches. He cared about Zara. He walked into the forest searching for her. He cried out her name. A green parrot spoke to him. "She is in the cloud palace," it said. "Climb the mountain of silence. But it will test your heart." Jabiru climbed. The mountain showed him gold. He refused. It showed him a more beautiful woman. He refused again. Storms tried to throw him down. He kept climbing. Inside a cave, an old woman sat holding an ice candle. "You seek the star bride," she said. "To bring her back, you must give up pride. She will return as ordinary. No beauty, no wealth, only love. Can you accept this?" "Yes," Jabiru replied. "Her presence is enough." She gave him a black stone. "At the peak, throw this at the moon." He did. The moon shone brightly. A path of light appeared. Zara walked down. Now she looked like a normal village woman. "I have no magic left," she said. "I am only a woman." "Is that enough?" He embraced her. "It is more than enough." They returned to Akudo. People laughed at her plain face. The ruler insulted them. But they ignored everyone. They lived simply and peacefully. Years later, sickness spread through Akudo. The ruler's medicine failed. Zara knew forest herbs. She healed many people. Even Femi's children. Even the ruler's wife. She asked for nothing. People finally understood. True beauty lived in her kindness. The ruler apologized and offered riches. They refused. Years passed. They grew old together. One night, Jabiru lit a candle. Not to expose a secret, but to admire the face that stayed beside him. He saw wrinkles full of memories. "I am glad I looked this time," he whispered. "And I am glad I stayed," she smiled. That night, 2 bright stars fell on their roof. In the morning, they were gone. Only stardust and 2 white feathers remained. Some say they returned to the sky. Others say they became 2 trees standing close forever. From that day, the people of Akudo stopped mocking the poor. They learned that real light lives inside the heart. And they always told the story of the man who lit a candle, lost a star, and found a soul. Would you have lit the candle? Drop your comments, yes or no. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, please like, comment, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us keep bringing amazing stories just like this. Until the next story, please stay safe and stay prayerful. I love you all.